Hi, it's Doug Holland, LMT, with another massage tip for massage professionals. Today we're going to be discussing Morton's Neuroma. I get a phone call about every 2 months asking, will massage therapy or reflexology help this condition? Well, first of all, what is Morton's Neuroma? Well, as we know, it is a burning sensation, a painful sensation that's in the ball of the foot, right where the metatarsal heads come together. If we pretended this is the bottom of the foot and these are the 4 toes and this would be the big toe, right between digits 3 and 4, right at the top, is where that pain is. Some people describe the feeling of standing on a pebble or a rock, but that shooting pain goes up between these toes and it can be agonizing for some individuals. Now, what's taking place? Well, it's usually compression of the metatarsal heads, a banging back and forth. It's usually because of shoes. That's usually the cause. It could be running, jogging, ballet, but most likely it's high heels, women standing. That snow cone effect of the toes being crushed into the front of that shoe, that pointed shoe. But regardless, what's taking place is when those metatarsal heads bang together, it's like punching that nerve over and over. And what the nerve does is it creates a scar tissue, a thickening of what is the outside of that nerve called the epineurium. So just the surrounding of that sheath itself. It gets thicker and thicker, and the more thicker it gets and the more pressure that it puts on that nerve, of course, the more pain that we actually have. So there's 2 ways that I like to address this issue. One is eversion of the foot, which is a super-pronation or a hyper-pronation of the foot. And the other stretch I like to do is what they call the rainbow stretch of the transverse arch using compression. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate on the table how I do those 2 stretches, how I drive my thumbs in. And just remember, I've already done all the other warm-up stuff on the feet. Let's just pretend I did it all. I have the person's feet throughout the 30, 40 minutes. And now I'm going to do these particular stretches because they can be painful on the patient itself. So let's go down the table and see what we got going on. We did all the warm-up work on the foot. We did all the stretching and the reflexology to all the different reflexes. Now we're going to focus directly on Morton's Neuroma. Now we know Morton's Neuroma, generally speaking, originates right here between the 3rd and 4th metatarsal heads of the plantar base of the foot. In between these 2 toes right here, that's the channel that nerve passes through. And that neuroma, that thickening of the tissue and the pain will be right here. This is where that pebble feeling, that rock feeling, that burning sensation, that numbness can be right here. Because that's where those metatarsal heads have been crushed. That usually the weakest point is here, and the foot will arch, or like a McDonald's sign, will do this to get at those metatarsals so they don't bang together. And so there's 2 stretches that I like to do. One is to evert the foot, which is to dorsiflex a foot, but in a more hyper way. And I take my fingers, I lock them like this, and then I put the palmar aspect on the bottom of my palm on the plantar aspect of the foot, and then I put this hand over the top and I sandwich that foot, I pin it. And then I simply evert the foot. And I go as far as the patient can take it. Now, what you can't see on the camera is even though I'm pinning this foot, I'm allowing more pressure to be on this 4th and 5th metatarsal heads so that as the stretch is taking place, these bones are pulling away. They're pulling away. They're heading, which would be in a superior direction. Does that make sense? Because if you can open up these metatarsal heads here, you're going to give room for nerve innervation in that channel. So that's one way. It's an excellent, excellent stretch, and that's one way I love to get in there for Morton's Neuroma. The second thing that I like to do is a rainbow stretching, which is a rainbow arch of the transverse arch. So we take the transverse arch, which means across the bottom of the foot here, transversely, and then I take my two thumbs and I get right in between the third and fourth metatarsal heads. I pin it, and then I take these fingers, lay them on the dorsal aspect of the foot, and then I push in and make that arch, that rainbow arch. This is, again, completely the opposite of what most shoes, especially high heels, do. So we're doing the opposite of to bring relief to that area. I will hold this position for about a minute to a minute and a half to bring relief. If they do have an acute case of neuroma, this can be very, very painful. So sometimes we have to wait a little bit for the inflammation to be down, but this is an excellent, excellent stretch to get to that particular area. So pronation, eversion of the foot, rainbow arch. Those are going to be the two absolute best ways, in my opinion, to get in some relief for the Morton's Neuroma. Well, I hope you enjoyed that massage tip on Morton's Neuroma for massage professionals. If you did, please hit like and subscribe. And just remember this, if there's no discomfort on the table, well, then it's more than likely just a foo-foo massage.